A health and safety hazard has been created. You are being ordered to leave this property. Additionally, this gathering is in violation of the order of the state public health officer in order to minimize the spread of COVID-19.
Anti-Afro-Bengalis, first and foremost, this march on mold that Umar Johnson is trying to get going is illegal. The mayor is the one, or the mayor's office, issue the permits for special events, and they require at least 30 days in advance that the application be submitted. We also know that when people have an impromptu march or they're walking up and down protesting on a sidewalk, 9.9 times out of 10, the police aren't going to care about that. They're not going to stop the person and make them go get a permit unless the person is creating a hazard or disruption or violating the law. Same applies to a group or an individual that did go through the channels and obtain a permit. Doesn't mean you can violate the law. So Umar Johnson planned this. This is a planned event. So there was plenty of time to obtain a permit and make it 30 days out. There is no emergency. There is no urgency. The only thing that they want to do is get it while it's hot. This race baiting and race attacking, lying on people, claiming that people are white supremacists, all for a money grab. And let's not forget, I don't want to neglect, the primary money grab is payday. The beginning of the month, 2 days at the beginning of the month, when people on government aid get their checks coming in. And Umar Johnson is pretty much by proxy an overgrown welfare case. He gets money from people on government aid primarily. And you have a few people who appear to be somewhat steadily employed. It might give the impression, but they jump up and engage in outrageous behavior at Umar Johnson's behest. Most professionals won't even consider doing anything like that. And we see the outcome of that. Just the same, Umar Johnson is trying his hardest to get it while it's hot, while he's whipped up all this frenzy and posted a video or a meme with a gun on it, claiming that the anti-fraud warriors are coming. And come on, people. He knew this is not going to happen. It is a demonic, fraudemic money grab. Look at the situation here with Umar Johnson. Is this a person who should be getting a permit? He deserves a permit to do a march when he is going around the country begging up on hyena yelps without a face covering. You see what I see. This is a safe person to hold a march in public, and he doesn't even reference any of the governor's mandates or the government's orders for COVID-19 risk prevention. Are you serious, people? And they're so desperate to try to paint people in a light where they think their rights will be infringed upon. It's absolutely unbelievable. These robo followers are bored. They're desperately looking to leave their demonic stain somewhere on social media. Umar doesn't give a damn about them anyway. He kicks them to the curb left and right, and I guess this batch is on its way out. Umar is a user. The robo followers are users. They can't even get along with each other. They're up there disrespecting each other. You know what? That's to be expected. They don't respect themselves. They can't respect anybody else. However, let's get back to the actual nitty-gritty. What Umar Johnson really thinks he has a right to do to continue placing the community at risk. And when you speak up, he thinks he has a right to literally control your destiny. No, it does not work that way. It will not work that way. We need to do something about what has been going on. Now, since Umar Johnson doesn't seem to get the message, it needs to be kicked up to the next level. Do you all remember when Umar Johnson posted a video? I have that video. He was accusing the Center for Disease Control of planting infectious diseases, communicable diseases in the black community. This is what Umar Johnson was doing. Your destiny. No, it does not work that way. It will not work that way. We need to do something about what has been going on. Now, since Umar Johnson doesn't seem to get the message, it needs to be kicked up to the next level. Do you all remember when Umar Johnson posted a video? I have that video. He was accusing the Center for Disease Control of planting infectious diseases, communicable diseases in the black community. This is what Umar Johnson was doing. He's accusing the CDC, but look at him in these photos. Look at the people in the photos. Look at the children in the photos. He is placing himself in a superior position, and when he's not wearing a face covering, neither are the other people. This is a person that deserves to have a permit to walk around in the public and put everybody else at risk. Because why? He's desperate for a money grab. He knows he needs money grabs on a regular basis. None of the money grabs have anything to do with the abandoned bomb shelter. Because if it did, he would pay at least one bill. At least one bill he would pay. Well, let's make it two bills, because he did pay the $212 for the permit. But that's all. He's not paying anything. And I'm not counting the taxes from yesterday or wherever, because now the taxes are $100,000 and he's not paying anything to move the situation along, other than to tell us we need to give him money. Every day he's begging for the money because he needs it to survive on. This is short term, immediate, right now. I need money. He doesn't give a damn about anything in the future. He's happy that the rats are warm at the abandoned bomb shelter. He's happy with that because he doesn't like to go in there. He has to go in there with a bunch of people. There's got to be this grand production, walking through buildings and slamming doors, and he thinks that represents that the building is nearly complete. Long way to go, and in fact, we're never going to get there because that was never Umar Johnson's intention. Perhaps the Center for Disease Control needs to know that Umar Johnson is hell-bent on disregarding COVID-19 mandates by traveling all over without face covering, ignoring social distancing, and now he's trying to pull off a demonic money grab because he needs money to survive. This has got nothing to do with any sort of school. The rats are not even concerned about being evicted from the abandoned bomb shelter. They're not worried one single bit. And I have some other news for you people. Umar Johnson has not filed all the paperwork in Delaware. He is supposed to file an actual tax return as a nonprofit, not just the 990N. There is another tax return that the state of Delaware requires nonprofits to file, and he has not done that. He filed one in 2019, and they are due by March 15th of each year. However, one was not filed in 2020. So coming up on March 2021, that will be 2 years where Umar Johnson did not file a state return for nonprofit organizations. Now let me say this. Is Umar Johnson the only one in the state of Delaware that didn't file? Obviously not. Is it really a huge deal that somebody misses one return? I would say no, because you have a chance to catch up. We're coming up on 2 years though. And if you add everything together, it makes it a pretty bad situation, because it's even more proof that he has no intention of opening a school. I don't care how tired people get of hearing this. You have more and more evidence. Further and further away Umar Johnson is getting from opening a so-called school, because now he's on this hyena Yelp with these $50 Kinko print jobs. And we need to do something, people, because it's not safe. Nobody professes to be the moral police other than Umar Johnson. But who is going to disagree that this is pretty serious stuff? Pursuing money, not complying with any form filings. And when he filed the document with the IRS, it was clearly perjury because he lied about how much money that he collected as a so-called nonprofit. And furthermore, he's benefiting. He is benefiting as an individual without any services being provided. Can people stop and think about that? He can't keep using the excuse that I'm trying to collect money because you're supposed to be providing a service. That's why you have the nonprofit status. The purpose of the nonprofit status isn't for you to continue collecting money for yourself and you don't provide any services. And that's what's going on. This is ridiculous in terms of expecting people to be quiet and say, give him a chance. Give the brother a chance. You're beating up on a black man. No, he's beating up on us, on our community. And now he's trying to go full force by begging up on these hyena yelps traveling around the country. Who else is traveling around the country on a tour? Who's doing that? Who's traveling around on tours? Even celebrities aren't even doing that. But Umar Johnson seems to think he has a right to go around targeting black businesses, trying to guilt them into accepting a hyena yelp during COVID-19. Meet and greet. Meet and greet does not go with COVID-19. Delaware's COVID situation is getting worse. More states are having issues. How can this be justified? Because Umar is confining his crimes to the black community. That's how Umar is able to justify it in his mind. And look what happens. When you speak up, you have who saying something about it? Black folks. That ship has sailed. This is getting far too dangerous. And then Umar Johnson's willing to have people beat up, threatened, and God knows what else because they're speaking up. That is not going to stop the vast majority of us from speaking up. We need to take it to the next level. And I want to say this. This is pretty disgusting, but I'll say it anyway. For those out there who want to complain about Umar being held accountable, you can't even say to these people, how would you feel if your relative got sick at a hyena yelp? I don't think they would care. Do you see how these people are acting? Do you think they would really care if a relative contracted COVID-19? I don't think they'd care. Listen to how they talk to each other. Listen how they act. They claim they're for black businesses, but they have no problem with Umar Johnson traveling around the country, putting himself and other people at risk for contracting COVID. And they want that to move forward. It doesn't reconcile. You can't care about black businesses, then not give a damn when Umar wants to travel to black businesses and disregard the COVID regulations. That doesn't make sense. And that actually goes back to what I was saying before. These robo followers, they're just trying to stick on an opposite end to cause controversy. I am going to come back and do a video on the details about the tax return. And I also have a few bombshells to drop on you regarding some people who thought they could hide out and not be figured out in terms of their identity, and just more information dropped in our lap. So I'm going to be talking to you about that. In the meantime, access the links at the bottom. I want to figure out who at the CDC I can contact. And when I get a hold of that contact, I'm going to get back to you all. But in the meantime, utilize the resources that you see at the bottom to figure out how we can put an end to the madness. Stop the fraudemic in Wilmington, Delaware. Demand that he be required to file a permit with the 30-day notice. This is not impromptu. This is planned. This is nefarious. This is dangerous. This is putting people at risk. There is no need for a protest. One thing we do need to do, however, never forget to heed the warning. Buyer beware.